The depths of the ocean are classified as abyssal areas, ranging from 2,000 to 6,000 feet below the ocean surface. Because there's little to no light penetration from the surface, many animals living that deep have small eyes or are completely blind. There are different environments that occupy the ocean depths, named seamounts, trenches, and black smokers.
Seamounts are underwater volcanic peaks that support coral populations and abundant amounts of different fish species. There are thousands of seamounts all over the world located at the bottom of the ocean. Put together, the total area of seamounts on Earth is more than the area of North or South America. Seamounts are mostly lightless and surrounded with cold temperatures and high water salinity. However, at the top of the seamount, there are kelp and algae-dominated communities. From about 70 meters from the top of the seamount down, there are coral-based communities. Because seamounts are just submerged inactive volcanoes, they are made up of igneous rock. Seamounts are biodiversity hotspots with higher abundance and variety of life forms than the surrounding seafloor. Seamounts attract plankton, corals, fish, and marine mammals. The spiny lobster is an example of a shellfish that tends to live in crevices of rock and coral reef. They eat snails, clams, and crabs. Spiny lobsters navigate by using the smell and taste of natural substances in the water that change in different parts of the ocean. Potential predators may be deterred from eating spiny lobsters by a loud screech made by the antenna of the spiny lobsters rubbing against a smooth part of the exoskeleton. Another animal of the seamount is the red snapper. They are found in the Gulf of Mexico and the southeastern Atlantic coast of the United States. Sometimes they're even found as far northward as Massachusetts. An adult snapper can live for more than 50 years and weigh 50 pounds. They inhabit rocky bottoms, ledges, ridges, and artificial reefs. Smaller fish spend time in the upper part of the water column, while more mature, larger adults live in deeper areas. These larger fish do not allow smaller individuals to share this territory.
Oceanic trenches are long, narrow cavities that typically border continents. They are also the deepest parts of the ocean floor. A trench marks the position at which one tectonic plate has moved below another. Most deep ocean trenches can be found bordering continents on the Pacific Ocean. Trenches are so far under the surface that they have extremely low temperatures, about 1 to 2.5 degrees Celsius, and no sunlight exposure. With conditions this extreme, there is no photosynthesis, therefore no plants. Not many animals can survive in these conditions, but those that can have adapted incredibly. Most of the deep sea fish are passive hunters waiting for a meal to swim by. Many animals that live at these depths have the ability to create their own light, called bioluminescence. One example of this is the lanternfish, which has rows of phosphorescent spots along its sides. Also known as photophores, these spots may also function as identification tags, so fish can find others of their species in order to reproduce. Another is the anglerfish. If you've ever seen Finding Nemo, then you're familiar with this fish. It has a characteristic light hanging from its head in order to attract prey.
Black smokers are hydrothermal vents located underwater on the seafloor that spew iron, sulfide, and hot water. These towers are named for the black precipitate that billows from them. When water seeps through the cracks in the ocean floor caused by tectonic plate movements, it is superheated by magma. Then, when combined with iron and sulfide, it gets spewed back out into the ocean. The minerals build up because the water is continuously being spewed and eventually create the tower formation, kind of like a chimney. These formations are comparable to geysers like Old Faithful. They are located 7,000 feet below the surface in a cold, lightless area. However, the water spewed can be heated up to 398.89 degrees Celsius.
Any life that occurs at this depth is all because of bacteria. The bacterium converts available sulfur into energy through chemosynthesis, a process similar to photosynthesis, but it does not require light. Organisms rely directly on the energy on the bacteria or organisms that consume bacteria. One example of these animals is a tube worm. These organisms have no way of taking in nutrients, they just live off the bacteria that lives in their tissue. The conditions of the deep ocean, like pressure and temperature, make it extremely difficult to research. The information in this area is limited, but with advancing technology it is becoming more accessible.